Welcome back to Legally Speaking with the McLario firm. There are many different types of contracts. There's business, there's personal, but what are your obligations when entering into one, and how do they get broken? Do they have to be written? There are so many questions.
So many questions. So joining us now are two attorneys from McLario. We've got Brooke Houston and Maxx Forti, and we're excited to have you guys here to clarify it all for us. Yeah. Good to see
you. Good morning.
Good morning. Thanks for having us.
Yeah. So let's just start with the basics, just kind of breaking down what is a contract.
Yeah, so I mean, the simplest terms, it's an agreement between two or more people or entities that has some type of duty or responsibility between the two or more parties.
Yeah.
Contracts are, they're tricky. Reading them is no fun. That's what I would say about them. So who can enter into a contract?
So any adult or anybody who has the capacity to do so can enter into a contract. The main restrictions are, minors or people, like I said, without the capacity to do so.
Yeah.
I think about people who are sitting at the bar and they're like, we're just going to write out this on a napkin and that's our contract. So, that kind of comes to mind. People think it's got to be written. Is that true? Does it have to be written? Not that that particularly counts. Maybe it does, but written, is that a piece that matters when it comes to contracts?
Yeah, that napkin contract might hold up. Who knows?
That's what I feel like people talk about all the time. Yeah.
Yeah, so they don't have to be written. There are certain things that do. So if the performance in the contract goes over the length of a year, then they have to be written. That you can combine, partially written, partially oral contracts, but we as attorneys, and hopefully all attorneys, certainly recommend having something written to, help ease anything in the future.
That helps clarify.
Yeah, because if it
sure.
comes down to it, wouldn't it be a he said, she said if it's not written?
Yeah,
Yep.
Judges love that.
Yeah,
Sure they do. That's where you come in. Let's see. It's interesting that you said part of it could be oral, so part of it could be spoken. So if you identify your wishes or something like that to someone, that actually could become binding.
Right. So like if I hired a contractor to paint something in my house and the contract says we agreed on whatever eggshell white, but then orally we changed the color to some other shade of white, then they would paint that new color and it would be fine to not have that reflected in the contract.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
I see. So then what makes something void?
Well, essentially, if there are any illegal activities involved, things that, people shouldn't really be doing, again, going back to my statement previously, if there's the capacity of a person to perform a contract comes into question, then a contract can kind of, be void. But obviously it has to be challenged or that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. What about, because one of the things is sometimes things are very much one-sided. I think about some employment contracts I've had over the years, and they're heavily one-sided. Is that ever an issue? Can that ever void a contract?
Yeah, it can. If it's written so severely in favor of one party, then it can become void.
Wow, interesting.
I always think about too when somebody's in the hospital and they sign something or whatnot, and the whole idea of competency or health comes into play. Is that a big piece of what a lot of people talk about too for voiding a contract?
Definitely, yeah. I mean, it's a very common occurrence, and obviously it comes into question as to whether or not they're competent or who can prove that, and especially with healthcare and medical situations like that, there's, obviously the doctor's opinions matter in that case as well, and that's just a whole separate legal realm that you can get into, but for now, yeah.
Well, and sometimes I look at contracts and I'll read them. A lease even is one that I think about, which is so complicated and has so much to it. Especially with college age kids, I'm looking at these leases and I'm thinking, don't do this, don't do that, it voids your contract,
Don't be a college student.
Exactly.
It's gonna void it.
Yes, but I feel like, okay, I'm reading it, I think I'm fairly intelligent, but it is always good to have somebody who knows the law read it before you sign it, probably.
Oh, absolutely. Having an attorney look at it and kind of put it in layman's terms for everybody to understand what it is they're entering into is huge. We definitely recommend having another set of eyes on anything before signing it.
Yeah, that legal speak, the legalese
Yeah.
kind of freaks me out sometimes.
I feel like insurance is one where people are like, well, did you read the whole contract? Nobody reads an insurance contract.
No,
Exactly.
Like, I'm like, agree to terms and conditions on my
Yeah.
phone.
Yeah, there's no
Whatever.
negotiating with your insurance
Yeah.
company, you know?
Exactly.
Yep.
Well, I guess that's a good question. Like, if you want to negotiate, are most contracts fairly negotiable, do you think?
Yeah, I would say it depends on what party it is you're entering into a contract. If you guys and us want to enter in a contract, we can negotiate back and forth all
Yeah.
day until we get something that we're all in favor of. But when you do have those bigger parties, employers or insurance companies, it's certainly more difficult to negotiate any of those terms.
So it's more about understanding what you're signing, probably, right?
Right.
Yeah, even more important to have an attorney sign it. It was
Yeah.
great having you guys
Yeah.
here. Thank you for talking contracts
for
with
having
us.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Everybody, I feel like, signs contracts. We do it so much more often than we even
All
realize.
the time.
Yeah.
So thank you so
Especially
much.
now that it's DocuSign, you're just like,
Oh, yeah.
click,
Right.
you know?
Too easy. It's way too easy.
You're like, oh,
Way too
good. Thanks, you guys. All right, if you need an attorney to review a contract, obviously it's a good idea, and many times just give the McLario firm a call. They offer free consultations. Their number is 262-251-4210, or for more information, you can visit them online at McLario.com.